So today let us start the chapter immunity. A very brief introduction to immunity we will study today. Okay? So what is immunity or definition of immunity? It is the ability of an organism to resist a particular infection with the help of some defensive mechanism. So it is the ability of an organism. Okay, to resist the infection, to resist the infection caused by any other foreign particles with the help of some defensive mechanism, means with the help of our own body's mechanism, an organism can resist the infection to occur. Okay, so what is immune system? It is a protective mechanism against ingested microorganisms or viruses that recognized as foreign material. So immune response is a protective mechanism, okay, against any microorganisms or viruses, any ingested microorganisms or viruses that recognize as foreign material. In response to this, the lymphocytes in the blood produce antibody against specific antigens present in microorganisms to destroy or inactivate them. In the circulatory system or in the circulatory fluids, the components of circulation, I have a class on that. Watch that video. You will know what are the functions of lymphocytes. Now, our body contains WBC or white blood cells, which actually acts as a protective cell to our body. They actually prevent our body from causing any type of diseases either by antibody formation or through phagocytosis, by engulfing the foreign particle and make them lysis so that they cannot multiply or they cannot grow in our body. So the lymphocytes has a great importance, which is these are the cells which are present in our body only. So see, what do? The lymphocytes in the blood produce antibodies against specific antigens present in microorganisms to destroy or inactivate them. Clear? Now, how do the immune system work? How do the immune system work? See, the immune response is how our body recognizes and defends itself against bacteria. So what is the immune response? It is the response of our body of identifying the pathogen and to form a respective antibody for that pathogen to destroy. Clear? So it is the response how our body recognizes and defends itself against bacteria, viruses, and substances that appear foreign and harmful. Antigens present in the infective agents are recognized as foreign. Any kind of antigens present in the infective agents are recognized as foreign particles. Okay? So once recognized, the immune system attack the foreign bodies and to destroy them. First, they have to recognize that particle. Right? If you cannot recognize, you cannot catch hold of anyone. Suppose somebody has steal something and went away. So you have to recognize that person who did that to catch that person, right? So when the foreign particle enters, okay, that immune system of our body, that particle should be recognized first. And when it is recognized, now the immune system will form an antibody to defend or to destroy that particle, that foreign particle. So once recognized, the immune system attack the foreign bodies to destroy them. In recognition of the antigens, the components of the defense mechanism produce antibodies against the antigens to inactivate them. So this is clear. In recognition of the antigens, the components of the defense mechanism produce antibodies against that antigen to inactivate them. Once it is being recognized, so the defense mechanism will produce the antibody against that antigen. I said just now. So this is how our immune system works. But to know how our immune system works, we have to know in detail about the antibodies and the antigens. So let us know about the antigens first. A compound or a pathogen or a product of it is usually known as antigen. So what are antigen? It is a component of pathogen or a product of it. Okay? It is known as antigen, and it is also called immunogen. Okay, it is also known as immunogen, to which the antibody binds. Clear? So antigen, to the antigen the antibody binds. Okay, after recognizing the antigen, a respective antibody is formed and it helps to destroy, it binds to the antigen, yes, and destroy them. Clear? Now some glycoproteins and nucleoproteins also contain antigenic properties. Some big proteins or some glycoproteins and nucleoproteins present in our body also act as antigenic properties. Large antigenic properties may have several sites as antigenic determinants, and these sites are called epitopes. See the picture of antigen, it is clear. See antigen, suppose this is a big protein or large antigenic proteins may have several sites as antigenic determinants. See, there are several sites, several different shape of the sites. These are called as epitopes. Okay, have several sites as antigenic determinants, and the sites are called epitopes. Sometimes small protein molecules on the surface of large protein molecules may also act as antigens. Sometimes, suppose this is a large protein and on top many small proteins are present. So those proteins can also act as antigenic compounds. Clear? So what are antigens? It is a component of pathogen or its product. Clear? Now what is antibody? It is a protein that is produced in response to antigen. When an antigen enters the body, when a foreign particle enters the body, then our body gets stimulated, and what happens? In that response, the protein develop, a kind of protein, that is antibody, develops to destroy that foreign particle. So it is a protein that is produced in response to antigen. One antibody may bind to a specific antigen. Only one antibody can bind to a one antigen. So 1:1 ratio it binds. Clear? They are also known as immunoglobulin and are produced by B lymphocytes. See, lymphocytes, they are produced by B lymphocytes as a response of the immune system of the body, and it is produced as a response system, as a response of the immune system of the body. Clear? Now here is the shape of the antibody. It is a Y-shaped protein particle. You can see it is a Y-shaped protein particle having 4 polypeptide chains. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Having 4 polypeptide chains linked together by disulfide bonds, and they are linked together by disulfide bonds. That means sulfide sulfide. S hyphen S, SS bond, disulfide bond. Of the 4 polypeptide chains, 2 are identical heavy chains and 2 are identical light chains. See, this is a 4 polypeptide chains, out of which 2 are light chains, see, light chains, and 2 are heavy chains. These are the heavy chains. Pink color represent the heavy chain, green ones are the light chains. Clear? Very easy to draw the picture also for the examination. It is very easy to remember also. Try to remember. It is a Y-shaped structure, 4 polypeptide chains, 2 are light and 2 are heavy chains. Clear? In each of the heavy and light chains, there are one variable region and one constant region. In all the chains, okay, in both the light and the heavy chains, there are 2 regions. See, there are 2 regions. See, in case of heavy chain I am showing, this is the variable region and this is the constant region. Again, in case of light chain I am showing, this is the variable region and this is the constant region. So both heavy and light chains have one region which is variable and one region which is constant. Constant region means you can see the polypeptide chain, the proteins, that means the proteins in this chain are constant, but here it is variable because these variable regions are antigen binding sites. So they have to change. They have to be variable because they have to change and with and they have to recognize the antigen and form itself and change its form accordingly to bind that antigen. So the region is variable. Clear? The variable regions of heavy and light chains unite to form antigen binding site. See, antigen binding site they are showing. So the variable region of both heavy and light chain combine or unite together to form antigen binding sites. So very clear to remember the structure of antibody. Okay. Now we will see the mechanism how antigen and antibodies bind together, but we will see it later. Let us go to immunity, the types of immunity first. See, immunity are of 2 types, innate and acquired. Innate means it is already within our body from our birth or since our birth. When we are born, the innate immunity starts working. So, innate immunity is there in our body since birth. But acquired immunity have to be acquired in our life or throughout our life we have to acquire this immunity. But innate is the inborn immunity and acquired is we have to get it through something. Clear? Now, especially we will say that innate immunity is non-specific in nature and acquired immunity is always specific in nature because I'm acquiring it. So it is always specific in nature, but innate is always non-specific in nature, but still it can be somehow divided into non-specific and specific. Okay? Now, why it is called non-specific? Because a particular organism, innate immunity is actually non-specific in nature because it does not respond differently based on the specific virus or specific bacteria. That's why it is called non-specific. Because the immunity which is grown in our body acts for anything, against any kind of foreign particles. Okay, so it does not depend or does not respond only to a specific bacteria or specific virus. And nowadays, and here now, in case of COVID 19, we are all saying that we have to boost our immunity. What? We have to boost our innate immunity through various kind of intake of various kind of vitamins, minerals, which can boost our immunity. So uh, suppose vitamin C is very important for boosting our immunity, but can you say that that vitamin C we are intaking is will act or will respond only to a particular pathogen or particular virus or particular bacteria? No. So we are acquiring this for to resist our body against bacteria. We are eating lot of minerals and vitamins for protection, but you cannot get that specifically that it will act only or it will respond only when this kind of pathogen infect our body. No. So this is the case of non-specificity. In case of innate immunity, it is non-specific specially. But it can be specific also, I will go. And acquired immunity can be passive and active. Passive can again be divided into natural and artificial. Active can also divide into natural and artificial. Now coming to this innate immunity, this is non-specific means line 1. See this? Line 1 defense and line 2 defense. Specificity is line 2 defense and acquired immunity comes under line 3 defense. Clear? So see, innate or natural immunity, this is non-specific response, and adaptive or acquired immunity, that is a specific responses, right? So this is non-specific and this is specific. Now the first line of innate immunity is skin acts as a line of defense, mucous membranes and secretions. The secretions or the secretory hormones from the mucus can also act as our body's immune response. Normal flora. What is normal flora? Normal flora is a kind of organism that live on another living organism. What is that another living organism? Either human or any kind of animals. So organism that live on the human or any other kind of animal body is called normal flora. Okay, it's called normal flora. This normal flora can be found in many sites of the human body. It can be found on the skin, especially in the moist areas like groin or between the toes, between our feet toes. There, then it can also be found in the respiratory tract, particularly in nose, then urinary tract and digestive tract, particularly the mouth and the colon part, where the moisture is more, there this kind of flora or this kind of microorganisms develop. So this acts as the line of self-defense mechanism, but not specific to any pathogen, but immune cells, innate immune cells, then inflammation, complement, and antimicrobial substances, they can act somehow to specific um, specific kind of responses. Inflammation, you have a previous inflammation. Suppose somehow you have got a hold of pox. So next time your pox will not occur because the antibody formed in the body can recognize that particular pathogen who is causing the pox, and you will not be affected the second time. Clear? Like this few inflammation or any kind of complement that we have, or any kind of antimicrobial substances present in our immune cells present in our body, somehow act as the specific line of response, because they can identify the specific um, specific pathogen causing that disease. And when that pathogen will enter our body, that antibody will resist its disease formation. Right, so it is specific in nature. And third line is the acquired immunity. The specialized lymphocytes act here like B cells, T cells. Okay, B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes. Okay, B lymphocytes produce antibody. You have seen here that it is produced by B lymphocytes. So, T cells can be of two types, helper T cells and killer T cells. Clear? Okay. Next, acquired immunity. What is acquired immunity? Immunity that develops during lifetime. I have said this is the acquired immunity. It can be divided into active and passive, and both can be further divided into natural and artificial. So see, what is active immunity? Develops in response to any infection or vaccination. It develops either in response to any kind of previous infection or vaccination. And passive immunity develops after you receive antibodies from someone or somewhere else. You are receiving from somewhere else, and here through vaccination. So, immunity that occurs during lifetime. See, active immunity can be of natural and artificial. What is natural? Like antibodies developed in response to an infection. The antibody, I've just now said that antibody that have developed in response to a particular infection will can identify the pathogen next time, and will resist your body from the disease, from causing of the disease. So this kind of self defense mechanism is called natural active immunity in case of acquired immunity. And what is artificial? Antibodies developed in response to a vaccination. If vaccine, many kind of vaccines are given. Vaccines for BCG, vaccines for polio, vaccines for uh, pox, any kind of vaccine. Through vaccine, we get the antibodies into our body. This is artificial. And in case of passive immunity, we are getting from somewhere or from someone. So coming to natural immunity, we are getting from someone, that is from our mother. While at the time of birth, see, antibodies received from mother, that is through breast milk feeding. At the first to the newborn babies, the breast milk are fed. That means through that the antibodies from the mother is being passed to the child's body. From there we develop our immune response against any disease. An artificial antibodies received from a medicine. Something has happened, we are eating medicine. From there we can get the artificial means antibiotics actually. The antibiotics here acts as the artificial source of passive immunity. Any kind of medicines that is from gamma globulin injection or infusion, either from any kind of injection, either from the intake of say uh, these antibiotics which are actually formed from anti from the bacterial body only, right? So this can help us our acquired immunity. So we have our immune system in our body to resist the attack of the pathogen. Now it can be of two types, humoral and cell mediated, that we will further slowly discuss in the next class in detail. So after this you watch how antigen and antibodies actually um, combine or react with each other. See a video, you will get a clear idea.
Any idea how this interaction takes place? The answer lies in the structure of the particular antibody. Antibodies, also known as immunoglobulins, are denoted with the abbreviation Ig. They are Y-shaped protein molecules which are made up of different peptide chains. Here we have a complete representative structure of a typical antibody. This structure of antibody is basically studied by dividing it into two parts: the constant region and the variable region formed by these peptide chains. As the name suggests, the constant region means the peptide chains remain the same in all antibodies. On the other hand, the variable regions will have peptide chains that can get altered as per the requirement. And what will this requirement be? That's right. The requirement will be the shape of this site depending on the structure of the antigen. Needless to say, the antigen binding site will be present in this variable region. There are many detailed parts and structures present within these variable and constant regions, but we will keep them reserved for the higher grades. For now, all we need to know is that all these parts together constitute a complete antibody. In us, humans to be precise, we have different types of antibodies. These include IgM, IgG, IgA, IgD, and IgE. For now, let's just know their names. And let's understand how any type of antibody interacts with any antigen that is designed to destroy. Antigens, as we know, are the molecules which are capable of triggering an immune response upon entering the body. So when an antigen enters the body, the immune cells secrete antibodies specific to the antigen. That means if this is the antigen, then this antibody with the binding site matching its structure will be produced. And once the antibody encounters this specific antigen, it will quickly bind to it somewhat like this. This is the antigen-antibody interaction that we've been talking about so far. And such interactions give rise to a cascade of reactions which ultimately trigger the immune response. So imagine this is a pathogen with these antigens at its surface. On encountering this one, the immune cells will make antibodies specific to these antigens, and thus an interaction somewhat like this will take place. And as a result, the immune system will get further activated.
So students, along with the chapters, please go through the related and probable questions from these chapters and also do watch the other videos, and it will be easy for you to construct your own answers. So please go through the chapter thoroughly as I've explained it in a very simple and easy language, and along with that, try to understand in the stepwise manner so that you can construct your own answers, okay, in your own language. It will be easier for you all to construct your own answers in your own language. So please go through the related questions and also watch the videos of the other chapters and share with your friends and other students as much as possible so that they get benefit from this video, because it is in very simple explanation.